Good afternoon and welcome to live stream Friday. So for SM Live, back for another show. This is our 9th live stream. Anyone that joined early will have seen the outtakes just then, so it was quite good fun. We should have some new people joining us today on the stream, I think. So if you are one of those, nice to have you with us. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're doing these every week at the moment from the live stream, so it'd be great if we can have you with us for them. And you can always watch them back on the YouTube channel if you don't join us live. So but please hit the subscribe button. That'd be great. My name is Chris Stott. I'm SalesMaster CEO, and I've got with me Howard Cox. He's going to be joining us again today. He's been doing these streams with me, so let's just bring Howard in. Howard, how are you?
Yeah, very well. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, been another busy week at SalesMaster, and I think we've got a great show planned for you today, actually. So omni-channel retailing, we've talked quite a lot about that over the last few weeks. So we thought today it would be a good opportunity just to kind of reiterate some of those key points on omni-channel. Obviously, SalesMaster being part of the the heart of the master inventory to power the omni-channel offering. So we've got online sales, offline sales with the showrooms reopening, and how to keep it all in sync, and especially as well feeding not just your own website but onward to other online marketplace. So what's the kind of key points that we're going to be covering today, Howard?
We absolutely, as you say, Chris, we've got a good packed show today to do with the omni-channel retailing. And we're going to be looking at a number of things that we have covered in various other programs and live streams that we've done. But I think to emphasise some of the functionality and the features in SalesMaster to just drill down a bit further into, I think. Based on customer feedback over the last week or so, it's very much about this subject. We're doing lots of training sessions, lots of introductions and management with people to be able to do this. So I think a perfect time for us to go back into it and show it again.
Definitely. I think, we've got some new tech today as well, as always. It would be fun without that. So it wouldn't be fun without having some challenges of new technology. So Howard, you're going to share your screen, I think, and I'll try and do the split screen. But yeah, if you switch over to your browser, and then we'll start off, I suppose, as a reminder to show the SalesMaster search, searching vehicles from anywhere. The application could be accessed on the browser.
This is where we go to the URL. And to the web address, and then log in this way. So lots of people will be familiar with this screen here. But it just then, when you log in, as we've mentioned before, it takes you in as you as the individual, giving you access to what your level has got. So yeah, there you go.
Another prompt actually, while we're on that, we should say about the comments as well in the chat. So don't forget, you can send us a question on the chat. So good afternoon, everyone, as Annette's put up there. Annette's moderating the live stream as usual. So any questions you send through, we'll put them on the screen, and then we'll talk through that so everyone can benefit from us hopefully answering your questions. So don't forget to join in on the chat, and if you are watching this back as a video on YouTube later, you can just pop it in the normal video comments, and then we'll go through those and use those in future streams.
Just some other features actually, Chris, just while we're on that, and we were talking about the home screen and how, if I was doing a demonstration of the system, I would show these functionalities on the left-hand side as well, which I don't think we've covered before. So interestingly, we've got these two icons down the left-hand side here with vehicles and settings. And if I hover over the vehicle screen there, it just gives you a bit more of a list of actions that you can take. But also, more importantly, I think it allows you to jump back into the previous vehicles you were looking at. Which I think is a real benefit. If you're talking to a customer about a vehicle, you then come away from that.
Yeah, handy shortcut sort of for those recent, I don't know how many it shows on there, but recent last few vehicles you were accessing without having to go and search for that same vehicle again. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about 15 actually.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, list of 15. My screen's a bit big to show you them all. But yeah, you can see here. So some of the vehicles we were in previously. Just another interesting feature and point on SalesMaster.
Nice.
Good feature. But I'm going to close mine down for this purpose.
Okay.
And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to again look for some vehicles. So what we're going to be looking at here is around the feeding again onto the media channels. So we've mentioned it in the past where we do have a number of our third party partners that we can feed to by using the tick box to be able to do, which of course we can do today. But we tend to have that in the background as well. So if there's certain criteria that meets the requirements, those vehicles will be passed through the API, and I think that's probably one of the key features. But one of the other things that I get asked for because of that, you can't necessarily search for the vehicles that are being shared, but what you can do is you can create a header based on the requirements that they're looking for. So that's something we'll do as well today. Excellent. On that. So I'm going to choose a bit of a different one this week. I fancy a bit of Jaguar there. So I'm just going to remove the sold as I normally do. So just adding the token of Jaguar minus the sold vehicles. Just want to have a look at some available vehicles, and we'll go down a bit further on this. So we'll look for a certain model. So we'll just grab all the XEs there, and you can see it just generally just drills down as I add these different headers into them. So that's we've got 82 vehicles that we're looking at, and they could be at certain statuses in build, of course on site and so forth, and people that work within these certain brands will understand the different statuses that we pull through as well. So we're really bringing in the vehicle from the moment it goes into production to be built. It's also a key feature to it's worth remembering, I suppose, that it's not just physical. When we call most people refer to it as stock, but obviously stock means unsold vehicles, so includes pipeline, as Howard said. So vehicle statuses, as soon as they're ordered on the factory system, then getting that feed through the various statuses to get it through the various production updates. So in terms of forward selling vehicles that are especially when you're getting into key periods, so month, during the month, what's deliverable during the month, whether it's physical or not, and the same with kind of peak months and quarter periods and stuff like that. It's good to have that greater visibility of cars that have not landed yet. They could just be a couple of weeks ago awaiting shipment, but still deliverable this month. So and we've got a good video on that we've done previously. So that it's always worth noting these elements that we can tend to skip over sometimes, but all these sources of information that people require on their day-to-day roles and jobs, then we've got them in SalesMaster. So it's really powerful, real powerful way of seeing that. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at setting some OTR pricing and some offer pricing. So knowing that once these are fulfilled within SalesMaster, that is the key for that to be then transferred on the API or released on the API for either the third party to come and get, or for us to push over to them. So that's what we're going to look at. So we need to fulfill those elements for it to then become on that file. So it's consumer, getting the data more consumer ready. And that I suppose can vary depending on, obviously the more information we have the better, but you can decide what criteria you want, and this is presumably the hookup to initially your website to feed that. So you could say only show, we could make only vehicles that are on the API available for the website if they've got a price or image criteria and stuff like that. And we'll come on to those critical pieces that you mentioned there. But they're absolutely that, and being able to see them transparent in your application as well. So what's being fed. So you should, if I've got 82 here, have I got 82 feeding onto my website? If not, then obviously questions to be asked. But if the criteria is met, then you'd expect them to be fulfilled.
Talking of questions to be asked, that's another prompt from Annette. So don't forget, pop them in while we're in this area. So again, we've got a few new people that I think are watching. So if you are not familiar with SalesMaster, there's no silly questions. So just ask what you need, and we'll try and take that and help out. So.
Yeah, and again on that, I'm going a bit slower on today rather than previous video or previous live streams that we've done for that reason, really, because it's a subject that we're discussing day in, day out, myself and most of the team. So, it really does highlight the importance of it, and, the reason for us to be able to show you it in this way that you can watch at your leisure. So, yeah. Ask questions, absolutely. What I've seen before, or what I've shown before, is you can sort ascending and descending on this data. So what I'm going to do in this example, I'm just going to click on the retail prices. I've just noticed there I've got used vehicles in there, so I'm going to just look for new. As simple as that.
It's all right though in terms of in terms of the reminder on all stock, isn't it? I guess because new and used in one list is another key piece. So
yeah, absolutely. Having them all in one place. Very simple for me or for any user to be able to remove that. But of course, you can have your setup how you want. And what you tend to find that the users of the system will do is that they'll create separate save views. So one that will be for new car, so they'll have all the criteria that would go around a new car perspective. So they might want the con number or the ord number in there, and then when it comes to used car, they might want the reg number, and other features within what's available on a used vehicle. So yeah, that's how we see it used. But we make it really simple to be able to get rid of them, just like that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the checkbox on the left-hand side. And the reason why I've kind of sorted by this, the retail price that we have appended in this environment is because I want to choose everything of the same.
Okay.
So I'm just going to choose this lot. Obviously, I can just select everything in one go if I was trying to do something that was going to go across all vehicles. But for this case, we're just going to select those first 9 like that. And then I'm going to move on to the little tab. As you may have noticed, once I do select these vehicles on the checkbox, it does change the view as well. So you can see that there. And I'm going to go straight to manage pricing, like so. And you can see that it's then pulling through all of those vehicles in one go, like so. And then I can set the OTR. So I would, in this case, if I'm comfortable with the retail price that is fixed in my environment, I'm just going to use that as my OTR guide, like so. And then that will just fill that. And then, as we've shown in previous, something that came out of one of our live streams was the ability to then either add a percentage off of that OTR as a discount, so creating the offer price, or of course as a value as well. So in this case, we could just go for 5%, and you can see that will do that calculation and adjustment for me. And then once I've created that, I'm not looking to share them with third parties in this example. I'm looking just to feed my own website. So I can just update those 9 vehicles and they'll just go straight across. So, going back to have we matched all of the criteria, OTR and offer price may be a criteria that they are particularly looking for, and that's the vehicles they want to display. So that's how we can do that. But you can also add in your own price if you wanted to, which I think we've shown before, but just so everyone's clear, you can just add that in as well.
And looking for using the search and search builder to find cars by price makes that even easier to, I suppose, to grab. If you're looking for all of those, you've looked at a certain Jaguar there, but if you're looking for a certain vehicle between 35 and 38,000 as a retail price, and then you could grab that collection and make the adjustment. So lots of sort of time-saving tools to get that batch and bulk update for powering online sales.
Yeah, just to speed that process up for them that can be really manual. That we want to make it as quick and simple for everyone to interact with and make it and get the vehicles online.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, well, let's just go back to the main cameras for a second. I think it's worth at this point, I suppose, pausing and just the purpose, obviously, and what we're trying to achieve by providing some of this tooling, especially the bit that connects your inventory and your stock with your website, is about kind of joining up that offering for your own digital sales. So obviously the market's going through so much change. We know we've got kind of new entrants in automotive. There's lots of shift over the last few months in terms of people haven't been able to get into the dealership, so the customers have been buying cars online. So we're trying to sort of join up these key tools that you need in kind of in a retailer infrastructure or a manufacturer network to kind of give you that capability to join up the inventory with the online sale. But even kind of moving on from that, it's actually how, when the showrooms reopen next month, how you keep everything in sync when then you have another section of customers that do want to come back into the dealership. And it's interesting, Howard, really, isn't it, listening to, again, so some of those with the customer. I know you and I have both jumped in different meetings over the last 7 days in terms of the requirements for this, and you can see, there is definitely a requirement for keeping things in sync, because you've got lots of different data sets. I think, I can't remember how many, there was like the data files coming out of the DMS, and then there was the spreadsheets, but I think you had half a dozen different sources on one of the discussions recently, and you're trying to try and make sense of all of those different individual lists in their own right before you even think about how you share that with all of your sales teams, and then try and keep the whole thing in sync. It's a big piece. Yeah,
it's absolutely right, and it has been a real key feature of or a key topic of our conversations for a long time, really. And that seems to have accelerated quite considerably over the last probably 7 to 10 days.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's off the back of our live streams, but anyway, it's certainly something that we, I spent a lot of time talking to people about, and introducing them to it. And
I think people are realising as well that it's quite. We take it for granted as consumers. You're always on a website buying something, and it's just second nature. But it's kind of that digital inventory aspect behind the scenes. If you look at Amazon, for example, you order something on Amazon, it's going to only sell you something when they've got stock of that item. It's not just an advert of what they might have. So it has to be hooked up to the real inventory. So I think that's definitely a piece that certainly we're seeing huge growth in that area to join up, and probably moves us on to the next piece around under negotiation and stopping that double selling piece. Is that worth diving into that at this point, just to?
I was going to. Absolutely. And as you say, it's we've been talking a lot about this as well. The sales status of a vehicle is updated in SalesMaster. So actually, how do we then join that up with the web providers as well?
And that's real-time sales status. So if the data feeds may not be in real time because they are topping up inventory or factory status changes of vehicles that are going to be built in several weeks. But when it comes to time sensitive, time critical information, the sales statuses are absolutely real time, live, and available in our application and also over our API. So that gives that kind of confidence that you're looking at the source of truth. Okay, let's get back into the demo environment then, and have a look at joining up, I suppose, concluding the website, powering the website, and then moving into perhaps the under negotiation stuff. So
so we can jump straight into the under negotiation piece now. Cool. Because we've set an OTR of a vehicle on those particular, or these particular ones that we've still got in our view, and we've set the offer price on those vehicles as well. So we really, that will start to feed across now, because that's the criteria we were trying to meet for this example. So then when I jump into one of the vehicles, again, gives you a bit more of this is what we call vehicle show. So it gives us a bit more information on that specific vehicle. Now, always to bear in mind in this environment or on this demo environment, the all of these features here, where you've got the model and the model year and the transmission and the VIN number or chassis number in this example, you can bring these out as headers using column chooser in the main screen. So they are also available out there. But if you're looking at one specific vehicle, this is a great way of doing that.
And this is more of an administration kind of view of that vehicle, kind of seeing everything all in one place of that kind of that record, rather than a customer view of the vehicle. Obviously, we've got different aspects where you want to show more customer friendly information, like obviously the vehicle images and the videos and the highlights of the vehicle spec. But this is more of a one single view of having all of the key vehicle data. In this case, obviously, it's just a demo environment vehicle, so it hasn't got the full data.
No, and as we move further forward with our integrations, the imagery and the photos of the vehicle become more and more important. So actually, rather than this box here that's showing a price breakdown of this particular vehicle, it shows the images as well in there, and can also show video on this screen as well. So yeah, just almost looking specifically at an individual vehicle in this case, like so.
Okay, and then moving on to the sales status then.
Yeah, so the sales status up the top here, obviously really straightforward. How it operates, not how it works actually in the background, but how it operates in SalesMaster and how the user engages with it is obviously really straightforward. So I've got a number of options there. I've got 5 options. I've got available, protected, under negotiation, which we're going to do in a second. And of course, sold vehicles. We also have a transferred record in there as well. But all I can do, due to my permissions, I get to see everything like that. Some may just see, can I put a vehicle under negotiation and make it available, and that's my limit. Or some may see all of the options as well. So as soon as I put that vehicle under negotiation, you'll see it will put a padlock on it, like so. To prevent anything, and it will lock that vehicle like so, and it will display back to everyone else that's got access to the visibility of this stock that vehicle is now under negotiation. And of course, at any time you click into the vehicle and you look on the activity, you can see actually who did that and when they did that. So almost interrogating, actually let me see who put that under negotiation and when they did it. It might be a well sought after car that somebody's waiting for it to unlock. You never know. But you can see, you can see it's under negotiation. So, and that just secures that vehicle then for me and for my customer that I'm talking to. So whether I'm, an inquiry has come through to me, or I'm on the phone, or of course, hopefully on the 12th they're in front of me, so I can put that vehicle under negotiation, and that can display back to everyone that has occurred.
Very good.
We tend not to update our parties with the under negotiation status, and the reason for that is it's a very common occurrence within our dealer groups and manufacturers that they'd put a vehicle under negotiation to hold it for themselves.
I think that was there was like hundreds of, or depending on the size of the account, obviously there's lots of movements throughout the day around that. Although I was in an excellent product meeting just this week with an integration we're working on actually to deliver some quite tightly coupled integrations in this area for omni-channel, powering the website and having some under negotiation omni-channel sales status integration, which was super exciting because you could see that really adding value to this whole joining both ends up. So I think that's the destiny and where we're certainly traveling to for our customers, to have that whole everything in sync area. Definitely a complete
and
piece.
SalesMaster us as the cog between everything really, and having the true source of the data. from that. So I think this one's set for a couple of hours. So after a couple of hours, if I can always go back in there and make that vehicle available again, simply by doing that. But if I don't, after that time period that's set on the account setting, which in most cases from a retail perspective is 2 hours, that will trip back and become available automatically. So yeah, you don't need to be too concerned that people are not going back in and making it available.
And this was where we are on last week's stream. We were talking about more of the data sharing concepts and having different time limits for under negotiation, which is possible in different configurations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can be controlled by the owner of the stock. So whether you're sharing it or not, if you're sharing it to another source or another StockBook user or SalesMaster user, you can set their permission of how long they could hold that vehicle for, because it's your stock. And of course, in your own account, that's entirely up to you and your settings. So yeah.
Yeah, no, great. And I think that's also where you've seen, again, driving that behaviour in the business and trying to get everyone to follow this process. So yeah, it might be not kind of the initial normal way of how you would run. And I think you've had some experience of that, haven't you, with in a mix of a sales meeting and like just basically trying to say everyone needs to play by these rules because everyone's going to benefit from having that kind of level of control and all have a greater pool of stock to sell from to a bigger sales team.
Yeah, it really needs to be a benefit for everyone to suddenly open access to a group of stock, a pool of stock, a larger pool of stock, as you mentioned, rather than just trying to sell what's sitting in front of you. You're as we mentioned at the beginning of this stream, the vehicle status, we're going to tell you if a vehicle, the system's going to tell you if a vehicle is going to land in the next couple of weeks and so forth, rather than what's in front of you. And the other one that this will be part of the API. Is when you mark a vehicle as sold, because of course that's almost you either reserving a car or you're doing the paperwork and signing the deal off to mark the vehicle as sold. So once I do that, that again puts the padlock on it and locks it, and is transparent, and everyone can see the activity on there that vehicle is now marked sold, and puts time stamps on it.
And that's another integration piece as well, isn't it, to mark a vehicle sold? Yeah, definitely.
That's really exciting that we can do this. So we can tell endpoints, even down to if we're stock sharing. If I was sharing this vehicle, and I think we showed this on a couple of the previous couple of videos ago, that actually once I mark that vehicle as sold, it's off that list anyway. So they don't need visibility of something we've sold or somebody else has sold. But to also update the website to say that a vehicle is no longer available, or just to remove it off of there completely. And then stops that double selling, doesn't it?
Definitely. Okay, great. Well, let's dive off that for a sec and go back to the cameras. So that we've shown there a recap. We've shown searching for the vehicles from anywhere, including pipeline, including used vehicles. Obviously, that was more new centric, but also keeping the stock in sync to display both on your application in SalesMaster in the showroom, but also on your website, and the ability to mark cars under negotiation to prevent the double selling. And also we set some offer prices as well, so kind of a real look at some of those key features. So the bits we've not really covered today, but I'm just conscious of our time now on this one. But I think the image integration and the video integration, they're obviously two other key parts of this piece in terms of all of those kind of consumer friendly points to get the data onto your website. But should we just, as we wrap up as well, go into how once you've done all that, because obviously doing it from a web perspective, it's also possible then to share with another third party as well. So should we perhaps just show that one, and then we'll wrap up for today?
Yeah, absolutely. 1 second, let me just move this away.
And I think In fact, yeah, I can just bring your screen on there and then go back in there. That's it. Cool. Yeah, we've got you now.
Yes. Yeah. So we, obviously we're becoming, because we're joining up with more and more third parties and web providers, that actually it's becoming more entrenched that it's what's the vehicle, what we're looking for, what they're looking for that's going to come across to them, and what is it containing all the correct information. But as you mentioned, if we wanted to be able to share these to a media party integration as well, we can simply do that by using these buttons up the top here. So we've got a couple of the car buttons that you can select. But if you probably did notice it in the share with as well. So we can just click that box and it will update those vehicles straight across for us. So if I did that now, I can just enable those vehicles. Just runs a quick query on that, like so. But now they're feeding across. So we've built a nice little helper to be able to just say, actually, just show me the vehicles that we've done.
Super simple, very fast, and obviously
made that very slick.
Adding several of these to the platform all the time, really, in terms of the onward integration. So I know we've got a couple configured on this demo environment, but we've got several out there being used in production, and it just allows you to have multiple, single view of the vehicle feeding into multiple consumer sources. And keeping them all in sync, because obviously when you sell that vehicle, you want to make sure it's reflected in all the different endpoints. So
and wherever you sell that, wherever that vehicle is sold from, that it's updating this one source to then push out to the rest. So
Fab. Okay, great. Well, I think that's back to the cameras then, and we'll wrap up for today. So thanks, Howard, for taking through some other bits. I know we're just conscious to try and keep showing these various functions in the live streams to make sure we share with you guys exactly how you can benefit from the tools that we've got in StockBook. We are also adding various links of the timestamps into previous live streams as well. So again, just make sure if you subscribe to the channel, if you can like a video, that's brilliant as well. So hit the like button. But yeah, if you can go over previous videos that we've done, and it makes it easier now. Annette's been doing a great job kind of categorizing the various bits we cover in the stream, so you can just jump back to a certain subject. It'll be all shown there in the video, and then we will probably also cut some of these videos into segments as well to give you more useful tips, which fits into another initiative that the product team are working on. So as always, it's been great to have you with us. If you've joined us live, thanks very much for joining in, and we will look forward to any more comments that we have over the next few days before we see you on the next one. So good to see you, and hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers for now.